as you all know, I am Dr. Alka Garg from Jaipur. My hospital is Carewell Hospital in India. My talk will last for about 30 minutes, and I'll be very happy to answer questions at the end. Oh, this is not the talk. Okay. Okay, bhaiya. Should I talk about Madam PP IUCD or should I talk about IUCD? Whichever you say. Yes, and I have two topics in that, PP IUCD and IUCD. So which one you want me to talk first, Madam?
Are you talking about both today?
Yes.
It does, go in order, whatever you have up right now. Perfect.
I can start with PP IUCD. So now talking about postpartum IUD. So what is the best time to counsel a woman for contraception? The best time to counsel a woman for contraception is when she is in early labor or when she is pregnant. That is when she comes to us for her antenatal visits. That is the time we can counsel for contraception because we have 9 months at that time. And she is also more vulnerable and easy to counsel because she is emotionally labile. And also, like Madam shared, we have the nurse family meetings and she's open to discussion. And so many other issues are going on and we can talk about contraception during the antenatal visits. So this is a new program coming up in India where we are talking about contraception in the antenatal visits. And at that time, we are suggesting the postpartum IUCDs. If the patient is not booked in the antenatal visits, we can talk about the postpartum IUD in early labor. That is when she's walking around in the labor room with pains. And then we can suggest.
So strategic.
Yeah. It is very diplomatic. Like when she's very troubled and, she's sitting here and there, and that time we can suggest. Yes, sir. That is, hit the iron when it is hot. The proverb goes, hit the iron when it is hot. So when she's saying, oh, it's so painful, that time you suggest a postpartum IUCD. So coming to the next slide, the pregnancy intervals and the risk of neonatal and infant mortality. So as we see, if the pregnancy intervals is less, the infant, neonatal, and the early mortality rates are very high. So this goes to say that if the next baby is born, say between 18 to 23 months after the next baby, the mortality rate is low. That is at least a year and a half after the first child. But the gap ideal would be 3 years. According to the general survey all over the world, the gap between the first and the second child should be at least 3 years. According to this data, it should be minimum 18 to 23 months. That is again, say around 2 years. If the child is born before that, the risk of infant, neonatal, and early neonatal death is very high. The context for postpartum IUCD. If we accept that pregnancy spacing of at least 24 months is recommended, and if we recognize that ovulation returns after delivery earlier than a woman suspects, if we understand that there is a large unmet need for postpartum family planning, and if we have learned that there have been advances in understanding the IUD, and if we see that the focus on skilled attendance at birth gives us a unique and new opportunity to provide women with postpartum family planning, then we know the woman is not pregnant because she has just delivered. Why she is not pregnant? Because she has just delivered. So we are sure. The one-stop shopping. Provider and patient both present without anyone making a special trip. She doesn't have to come again to the doctor. She is in the labor room and she is there, so she doesn't have to come again. Minimal time investment for insertion. Technically, what is the point? Cervix is open. Fewer accessories than for interval insertion. No need for speculum, light, and uterine sound. Many of the side effects in the early post-insertion period are masked by the postpartum status. Public health value of provision far outweigh the cost and loss of expulsion. The context of postpartum IUD. Then, PP IUD is a potential solution to improve the perinatal and neonatal outcomes. It is a non-hormonal method which is safe with breastfeeding. So that is one thing. And another thing is, a variety of methods mean more choices, which increases the satisfaction and continuation. Possibility of a long-term reversible method. IUD may be an alternative to sterilization for some couples because it is used for 3 years or sometimes 5 years and can be changed again and goes on and on. 4 IUDs means 20 years gone and then she's menopausal. Or the husband loses interest in her. Access. Immediate postpartum insertion is convenient for women. Review of safety of postpartum IUD. It is very safe and effective. High motivation. Assurance that the woman is not pregnant. It is convenient. There are very few contraindications, but the expulsion rates higher than interval insertion. The MEC are less specific in this area. Category 4. MEC is the medical eligibility criteria. Category 4 means the category in which the IUCD cannot be inserted. The category is immediately after septic abortion, immediately after puerperal sepsis, and unresolved postpartum hemorrhage. Category 3, in which the disadvantages are more than the advantages. That is, between 48 hours and 4 weeks, prolonged PROM, more than 18 hours. Then category 2, there are no conditions, in which the advantages are more than the risk. And category 1, which has to be done immediate post-placental and less than 48 hours or more than 4 weeks. So the take-home message is that the IUCD can be inserted immediately after delivery of the placenta, one, or after the delivery of the placenta and before the 48 hours of the child, or 4 weeks after the delivery. Between 48 hours and 4 weeks, it cannot be done. For risk of infection. Yes, that is slightly high. Immediately, yes, it is slightly high. I'm coming to it. So comparison of method cost. What is the cost for the clients in US? It is in dollars, in India and Thailand and Nigeria. So, and OC pills, condoms and IUCDs. So we can see the OC pill cost is $42 as compared to $32 for the condom and $3 for the IUCD. In India, OC pill $6 and $9 for the condom and $2 for the IUCD. In Thailand, it is OC pill is $18, condom is $31 and $2 for the IUD. And in Nigeria, $25 for the OC pills, $13 for the condom, and IUD is $1. It means to say that IUD cost is less than OC pills and condom over a period of time and over a period of 1 year in different countries. It means to say this. What are the advantages? It is very effective, reversible, and long-term method. It is safe, convenient, no increased risk of perforation or bleeding. Does not affect the quality or quantity of breast milk. It covers a greater population. Now, madam, coming to the risk of expulsion, it is 8 to 14% and maybe less, meaning 86 to 92% retention. It requires special training of providers. Timing of PP-IUD insertion, that is a post-placental, immediately following delivery of the placenta, one. Otherwise, intracaesarean, that is during the caesarean section, immediate postpartum, within 48 hours after the birth of the baby and prior to discharge from the postpartum ward, and delayed postpartum, after 4 to 6 weeks postpartum. The IUCD should not be placed from 48 hours to 4 weeks following delivery because there is increased risk of infection and expulsion. PP-IUD program requirements. One is the service delivery. There is a standard protocol for quality services, client education, materials, ANC counseling, and logistics. Then we have the training packages, anatomic models, training center, and adequate case loads and trainers. The supplies are the IUDs and the instrument. For monitoring, we have registers and database, client education before, during, and after, and advocacy, all staff in a facility and all providers in the community. Training package includes a reference manual, the course notebooks, trainers and participants, and we have the specific anatomic models, as you can see here. We have the rubber models, and then we have the gloves, the speculum, the valsalum, but we are holding the pregnant cervix with the sponge holding forceps, and for insertion, we have the Kelly's forceps, where we are holding the junction of the copperty, and we are inserting it all over to the fundus, and when we come out through the lateral wall, as you will see in the next slide. Generating demand through ANC. Current practice is to counsel for the postpartum family planning, mostly the postpartum sterilization, that is a tubectomy, If she has completed a family, say 2 children or 3 children, counseling is broadened to look at multiple methods, including PPIUCD. And it is recording the woman's choice on the ANC card, as you can see here. When we are doing the ANC counseling, and that time we are putting the stamp that she wants the postpartum family counseling. In this, we have the LAM, that is the lactational amenorrhea method, in which she is feeding the child. Second is the POP, progestogen only pill. Then is the PP ligation, postpartum tubectomy, then injectable progesterone, then condom, then PPIUCD, and one is nothing. Nothing means she wants more babies. Booked versus unbooked client. Booked client is seen and registered in the system. Counsel for PPIUCD during ANC. Choice is verified in early labor. Insertions are post-placental or intracaesarean. Unbooked client is not registered in the system and typically has not received any ANC. Counseled in very early labor according to the criteria or postpartum day 1. Insertion is done on postpartum day 1 or 2, but within the first 48 hours. How do you do the PPIUCD? Now this is also very interesting. 2 techniques of doing the postpartum post-placental IUD insertion and proper location of IUD after insertion. One is with the hand. IUD strings are placed in the palm of the hand and the IUD is held between the 2 fingers, between the index finger and the middle finger, like this, by holding the vertical arm of the IUD, And manual insertion is done at the top of the fundus because the os is open at this time. And second method is use of ring forceps to insert the IUD. The ring forceps is holding the vertical stem of the IUD, and again it is used to touch the fundus of the uterus. And third is use of the Kelly's forceps. Expulsion rates are related to the provider. To reduce the expulsion, use the correct technique, place all the way at the fundus. While coming back, sweep the instrument to the side. If we are coming in the middle, we bring the IUD back. So once we leave it at place, sweep the instrument to the side. Take care that IUD does not come out during the withdrawal and insert at the correct time. Post-placental is better. Now you can see we're cleaning the cervix with a swab. Then we are entering with the Kelly's forceps. It is a Kelly's forceps. No, ma'am, we cannot reach the fundus because the distance is more. So Kelly's forceps. Now we are leaving the IUCD at the fundus, and with the other hand we are manipulating the fundus so that we reach the top. After we reach the top, we are coming through the lateral wall of the fundus, as now you can see, and the strings are remaining inside. See, inside, and they come out only after 6 weeks. The patient cannot feel the strings. They are visible only at 6 weeks when the uterus has involuted completely. Yes, 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 sir. Every time. And for the intracaesarean PPIUCD, when we are taking out the baby and under vision, we keep the IUCD. Take out, keep. And when you keep the IUCD, don't bother about the strings because they fall in place. Keep the IUCD at the fundus from where you took out the baby. Just once you open the uterus, put your hand or the vectus, take out the baby, take out the placenta, manual removal, clean the cavity, use a gauze or a mop or whatever. Be sure that there's nothing inside, remove all the blood and the clot and whatever, and then just take the IUCD in your hand like this, go through at the fundus, put it, like you are going like this, put it, come back. String will go, it will find its way out. Now, sir, we have to do it in every case. Because if she's having 1 child, she should have another child after 3 years. If she's having, that is called spacing. If she's having 2 children, she doesn't need more. So again, it is giving enough time for the children to grow big, and then we can go suggest tubectomy. 99%. Yeah, so the only problem is the expulsion. Because when the uterus is involuting, it might push the IUCD outside. It has come out as a government program to decrease the population. Not in fact decrease, but to stop the ever-increasing population. Not decrease. Slower. Because the population is too much. So in the government setup, PPIUCD is becoming mandatory. As soon as she delivers, the placenta comes out, They are putting it. They are counseling, they are asking, they are talking, they are talking and talking. If whether yes or no, they are putting it.
Oh, whether yes or no?
Yeah, they are putting it because it is reversible. Usually it is a yes.
But if someone said no?
No, then they don't put it.
Oh, yeah.
But they make her understand, and because of the ever increasing population, because we have so many people.
Babies per mom is usually, like, what's the normal?
Normal 3, 4.
3 or 4?
Depends on the culture, the community, the religion, the socioeconomic status, and the literacy.
Yeah.
There's so many factors counting. Those who should be having more babies are having one baby. Those who should not be having babies are having so many babies.
Yeah.
Wherever. And then again, the infertility. Somewhere, no baby.
Yeah.
Running after the infertility clinics. Somewhere, too many babies. Running for emergency contraception, abortion, contraception. So, I don't know. Things are very different at different places. But coming back to PPIU city. So this is a new topic because this has come up in my country. So now important service delivery requirements, competency-based training, good counseling. It can be done during the ANC or immediately postpartum. Minimum supplies, IUD, forceps, gloves. Client follow-up, 4 to 6 weeks postpartum and program monitoring. Conclusion, this is not rocket science. Lots of worldwide experience, safe and effective, patient motivated and convenient. Thank you. So these are the different methods which we are using. One is the sterilization, 38%, withdrawal method, 3%, rhythm method, 5%, condom, 5%, IUD, 2%, pill, 3%, and not using any method, 44%. Trends in use of contraception. So over the years, we are seeing that the use of IUD remains the same, the use of pill is increasing, the use of male sterilization has slightly increased, and the use of female sterilization has also increased. So people are IUD, the thought remains the same, and male sterilization, people are not much in favor. The IUD, an important method with potential. Research has proven that IUD is safe and effective. Status of IUD acceptance is low in India. 54% IUD acceptors get the IUD from private sectors. Currently used IUDs, we have copper T380A, this is T-shaped, copper 375, which is, you can see, more decorative, and LNG IUD, which you call Mirena, which is a hormone-releasing IUD. So copper T380A is supplied by the government, it is free. Copper 375 is the private sector IUD, and LNG IUD is for the elite class. Now, as we were talking, what is less effective? About 30 pregnancies per 100 women in 1 year. That is the withdrawal method and the spermicide, which is very less effective. Slightly more effective is the male condom, the diaphragm, the female condom, and the fertility awareness method. And more effective is the injectable, the lactational amenorrhea method, the pills, the patch, and the vaginal ring. And more effective is the implant, which you have in the US, the Nexplanon, the Implanon, which we do not have, the IUDs, the female sterilization, and the vasectomies. So this chart says it all, whatever we were talking about. And this is the basket of contraception, which I provide to you. Now next, how copper 375 is different from copper T380A. So actually they are not different, they are same, but they require different loading and insertion technique. But there's nothing to suggest that one is superior to the other. They're almost the same. Mechanism of action, how does it act? It prevents fertilization by decreasing the sperm motility and function. As we all know, it acts as a mechanical barrier, and it stimulates the foreign body reaction in the endometrium and prevents implantation. And return to fertility, it is immediate after an IUD is removed. So that is one very big benefit. Advantages of copper IUDs, long-lasting, reversible, can be used in alternative to terminal method, very effective, little to remember, no interference with sex, no hormonal side effect, no effect on breast milk, and no interaction with any medicine. What are the limitations? Does not protect against STD including HIV, requires a skilled provider for insertion and removal. Pelvic examination before insertion is mandatory. Cannot be inserted in women who currently have PID, and the side effects are there. What are the side effects? Long and heavy menstrual period in the first few months, light bleeding and spotting in the first few days after insertion, discomfort and cramps during the IUD insertion for the next few days. In most cases, all these subside within a few months, and effective counseling and reassurance is very helpful. What are the potential health risks? Very rare, which are perforation, expulsion, partial expulsion, infection, and pregnancy with IUD. Anybody wants to ask anything? The house is open because I think we enjoy more if we can talk in between. And yes, sir. Doesn't have any complaints, but sir, it is very costly. Insertion and cost including 20,000 Indian rupees. Yes, sir. So, yes, sir. But you are right, sir. Totally right that Mirena does not have any complication. But in okay, sir. So we are putting the copper T 380A and 375, and we are counseling the patients. Only effective counseling and reassurance that everything will be all right. I am with you. The price? In India's no, in our country we have to work with the assurance and only the counseling that it will be all right. Do not worry, I am with you. A pat on the back, I am with you. Because nobody can pay. My choice would be copper 375, copper 375. Multi-load, it is called the multi-load. Yes, it is called the multi-load. Indian rupees, it is costing 250 Indian rupees, $3. $3 and $3 for the insertion. $6 for 5 years, affordable. And with the doctor always on the telephone. The doctor always running on the telephone, up and down. So medical health is very cheap in India. So perforation is very rare. It is 0.5 to 1.5 per 1,000 insertions. It is associated with the level of provider skill and experience. It is greater for the postpartum insertion performed between 48 hours and 6 weeks after the childbirth. Most perforations are silent and may go undetected. Expulsion is spontaneous, about 2 to 8%, most likely occur during the first 3 months during the menstrual periods. So they occur, sir, when the patient is having the menstrual cramps and the IUD comes out. Partial or unnoticed expulsion may occur and result in irregular bleeding and pregnancy, and it is influenced by the skill of the provider in placing the IUD at the top of the uterine cavity and the timing of the insertion. Heavy menstrual flow, it happens during the immediate postpartum period, after the second trimester abortion, and during the nulliparity. As the gentleman was asking, we are using the NuvaRing in the unmarried early teenagers who are sexually active, because NuvaRing, once you put it inside, it is concealed, cannot be seen by the parents, not to be used every day, put and forget, can be sexually active, has to be removed after the period comes, as he was asking. We are using in our country, but it is used, because it is very costly, it can be used by the girls who are not married and sexually active. Because if she takes a pill, the People might ask her what she's taking. The boyfriend might not use the condom. So new ring once put and forget. Yes. Yes, sir, that is in our country, but it is costly. It is costing 800 Indian rupees, $10. In my country, 80% of the people are sleeping hungry. So cost is very big thing. My country is a developing country. So cost is very, very big thing. $10 for new ring, people cannot afford. OC pills, it is $1. Also, sometimes it is free of cost by the government. But it is better to buy from the market, which is $1 or $2. So incidence of infection is less than 1%. The minimal risk is highest during the first 20 days after insertion. And this is very important, that the maximum risk of infection, whatever it is, though it is less than 1%, but that is also within the first 20 days of insertion. And there is no more risk after that. So whatever happens, happens in these 20 days. So if you tell her that whatever will be your problems will subside in the next 20 days, then she will not come back because she is mentally prepared. Due to not having taken aseptic precautions rather than due to the IUD itself. PID incidence rate by time since insertion. So again, this is also showing the same, that the risk of PID is greatest in the first few weeks after the IUD insertion. I hope it is going well, and if somebody is getting bored, I can. Then also I have to continue. I don't have much choice, I just don't start dancing. Yeah. So IUD associated increased risk of infection for 20 days post-insertion shows that infection rate post-insertion returned to pre-insertion rate by 3 weeks. So the graph shows that 20 days post-insertion, the rates of infection are the same, even in Chinese, even in Indian. So it is a gap of 20 days after the insertion where you can see the increased risk of infection. Reducing the risk of PID. Screen women for risk of STIs. IUD is not recommended if clinical symptom and sign of STI is present. Follow the infection prevention procedure, that is a no-touch technique. Recommend 1 month follow-up visit and return immediately if any symptoms of PID develop. Estimated ectopic pregnancy rates by methods. And this shows that IUD users are 50% less likely to experience an ectopic pregnancy than a woman using no contraception. Because it is strongly believed that using an IUD will cause an ectopic pregnancy. But the study shows that when they are not using any contraception, the chances of having an ectopic pregnancy are more than when they are using an IUD. So again, this has proved. When does a client needs to seek the medical attention? The warning signs is pains, period-related problems, pregnancy, abdominal pain, infection, not feeling well, and string problem. A single routine post-insertion checkup after the first menstrual period is necessary. What are the common myths? That it is not reversible, it increases the risk of STIs, it causes PID, it causes infertility, it increases the risk of ectopic pregnancy, it causes discomfort during intercourse, and it can travel to distant parts of the body. Yeah, I have not heard about that one, jumping.
That they might fall down?
No, ma'am. Because the os is tightly closed. The os acts as a sphincter. It does not fall down. Like that wise, the child can also fall down when she's pregnant. No, it doesn't happen. When to insert? Yeah. Then that is called a precipitate labor. When to insert? Having menstrual cycle, switching from another method, soon after childbirth, fully or nearly fully breastfeeding, partially breastfeeding and not breastfeeding, and no monthly bleeding after miscarriage or abortion. It can be inserted when she's not having a periods, but after the abortion, that is a surgical abortion. When it can be inserted for emergency contraception. This is a new topic coming in. And after taking the emergency contraception pills. Because when the lady is sexually active and she doesn't want to, and she has not used any contraception and she doesn't want to get pregnant, and she comes the morning after saying that I did not use a barrier last night, then the IUCD can be inserted. Emergency contraceptive. This can be used in the unmarried girls also. Not as a contraception, but as an emergency contraceptive. Just to prevent the So, to summarize, IUDs are safe, effective, convenient, reversible, long-lasting, cost-effective, and easy to use. Providers can ensure safety by informative counseling, careful screening, follow standard steps of insertion, good infection prevention, and proper follow-up. And we have the GHPAGO learning guidelines and checklist. And then we have the medical eligibility criteria and FHI screening checklist, which I can be sharing now. Key steps of infection prevention. Family planning counseling. This is how we do the counseling. The doctor is sitting here, and the husband and the wife are sitting there, and we have the basket. I usually have the basket with the physical things in it, so that they can hold it, touch it, feel it, and then decide. Yes. I have a physical basket. Yes. Why is counseling necessary? I have the things so that they can touch and feel it. The IUCD has to be felt. He has to feel it. Those who receive good counseling are more satisfied with their methods and use them longer than those who receive poor counseling. The key points to be considered are the informed choice, as Madam was saying, method-specific counseling, and follow-up counseling. And it includes the reproductive goals, the effectiveness, the reversibility of method, side effects, warning signs, need for protection against STIs, the cost, the availability, the convenience, and the follow-up. For potential IUD users, we are providing the correct information. It is long-lasting, highly effective, reversible, safe, and appropriate, and how to address the rumors and the myths. Informing of important considerations. It does not protect against STIs. If she's having multiple sex partners, then we cannot protect against HIV/AIDS. Menstrual changes is common side effect, but it is not harmful. For that, we have to suggest use of barrier along with IUCD. Complete medical assessment, including pelvic examination, to confirm that she can use IUD. Warning signs, mandatory first follow-up visit after 3 to 6 weeks of first period. Starting and stopping the IUD requires a minor procedure performed by a skilled provider. Who should use the IUD? It can be used by all women in the childbearing age group for spacing births, women who have had a cesarean section birth, women who do not wish to undergo sterilization but want an effective long-term contraceptive method, which is called spacing, can be used as an emergency contraceptive if inserted within 5 days of an unprotected intercourse. Now we are talking about the medical eligibility criteria and client assessment. So, is it okay to continue? A woman's eligibility for using a specific method, in this case the copper-T IUD, it falls into one of the 4 categories depending on the presence or absence of various conditions. MEC wheel is based on the WHO MEC wheel 2008 updated and have been adapted as per the Indian scenario. So we have the 4 grading, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the WHO category, and this is very important. Category 1. A condition in which there is no restriction for the use of the contraceptive method, that is the category 1, in which the contraceptive can be used and there is no restriction. Category 2, in which the advantage is more than the risk. Category 3, in which the risk is more than the advantage. Category 4, in which unacceptable health risk if the contraceptive method is used. Any questions on this, sir? The 4 MEC categories. So 1, As I told you, it can use IUD with no restrictions. Type of provider who can insert IUD: trained ANM, lady health worker, staff nurse, MBBS, and gynec. 2, can generally use IUD, can be inserted by MBBS, gynec. 3, risk is more than the advantage. Type of provider gynec. 4, should not use the IUD. So nobody can put it. Now this is again the chart which I was talking about. And then we have the pregnancy checklist, which is very interesting. Because before starting any method, we have to know whether she's pregnant or not. So we have to ask the following 3 criteria for the lactational amenorrhea method. All 3 must be met. The baby is less than 6 months old. She has delivered 6 months back. 1. 2, menstrual period has not returned after the last childbirth. She is still amenorrheic. 3, the baby is fully or nearly fully breastfed, often day and night, at least 8 to 10 times a day, at least once in 4 hours, and at least once at night. At least 85% of the feeding should be breast milk. No, if she is amenorrheic within 6 months of her childbirth and totally breastfeeding, then usually she will not ovulate before the periods start. And sometimes ovulation can happen before the periods start. Sometimes, but usually the hormonal changes because of the lactation, the ovulation will not occur. But the criteria for breastfeeding are very specific, as I can mention again, that the baby should be fed day and night, at least 8 to 10 times a day, at least once in 4 hours, and at least once at night. And 85% of the feed should come from the breast. With this criteria, if she has delivered within 6 months and if she is amenorrheic, then the possibility of her not returning to ovulation is very high. Yes. Yes. Then we have to go for the pregnancy card strip test before we put the IUD. No, we will do it, but we have to checklist. This is the checklist for the pregnancy, which I'm talking about. I'm coming to the questions. I'm just started. Now I have just started talking about the questions I have to ask the lady. So, have you abstained from sexual intercourse since your last month? One was the breastfeeding. Now talking about what all I have to ask the patient. Have you abstained from sexual intercourse since you had your bleeding or delivery? If she has had abstinence after her delivery, she is not pregnant. Definitely, if she was not with her husband after she delivered, how can she be pregnant? If she has been having sexual relationship, then she can be pregnant. So one question. Then, have you had a baby in the last 4 weeks? So this, did the first day of your monthly bleeding start within the past 7 days? If she has had a period, so was it within the last 7 days, so that I can put an IUCD? Then, have you had a miscarriage or abortion in the last 7 days? Or within the past 12 days, if the client is planning to use an IUD. Again, IUD can be put if she has had a period in the last 7 days or if she has had an abortion in the last 7 days. Then, have you been using a reliable contraceptive method which is consistent and correct? Like she might be using a POP pill or she might be using a condom or whatever she will be telling me. Now, these are the questions I am asking. Now, what the client is saying, I have to hear. If the client answers no to all questions, pregnancy cannot be ruled out. The client should wait for her next monthly bleeding or do a urine pregnancy test for confirmation. Did you get the answer to your question? If the client says yes to at least any one of the questions and she has no signs or symptoms of pregnancy, then you can give her the method she has chosen. This is the checklist which I am giving it to you. The abortion, the delivery, the feeding, and the sexual intercourse. Okay, that's okay. Yes, pregnancy checking can be done and it is very cheap and affordable. So urine test can be done, but these questions have to be asked. This is a pregnancy checklist which has been given by my country, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Of course, the pregnancy test can be done at any time. That is not an issue, and nowadays it is being done at home. It is over the counter. So should we continue, or you are feeling too much technical? Or you have gone into the depths? Because Because when I start a presentation, sir, I usually go into it. So this is the MEC wheel again for the postpartum breastfeeding. The condom can be used, the condom and the IUCD can be used. Now if I start with this, it takes 1 hour. So I don't have so much time. So I have come on this. Conditions that are category 1 or 2 for all methods. Like in these conditions, all methods can be used. You can see the checklist. The age is 18 to 39, anemia, benign ovarian tumors, breast diseases, family history, benign breast disease, undiagnosed mass, cervical intraepithelial neoplasia, depression, dysmenorrhea, endometriosis, high risk for HIV, epilepsy, headache which is non-migrainous, viral hepatitis carrier, chronic hepatitis, mild compensated cirrhosis, malaria, obesity, past history of PID, past history of abortion, family history of DVT, past ectopic, previous pregnancies with hypertension, previous pelvic surgery, smoking, less than 35 years of age, thyroid disorder, varicose vein, uncomplicated heart disease. All these we can use. Category 1 and 2 means all methods of contraception can be used easily in all these conditions. This is the checklist. But now the next conditions in which we cannot use. More than 45 years age, criteria 2. And then can insert the IUCD with between the 48 hours and 4 weeks of delivery. Contraception can be initiated on the day the misoprostol is given. Copper T to be inserted after ensuring that the abortion is complete. If the abortion is not complete, copper T cannot be inserted. If a patient is suffering from PID, copper T cannot be inserted. If increased risk of HIV and STI, then advise condom use in addition to any other method. If on ARV therapy, then category 2. So the list goes on and on. Client assessment. Ensure that the woman is not pregnant, ensure that the client does not have cancer, tuberculosis, gonorrhea, other infections, and high individual risk of STI. Identify other characteristics or conditions that may affect her eligibility for IUD and may require further assessment and treatment. Then use the screening checklist, as I've already told you, easy to use tool. Healthcare provider should use the checklist to screen the client before the IUD insertion. The questions, and then verify the history, conduct the pelvic examination. Follow-up care. It is very necessary for overall satisfaction. Identify and manage the potential problems. Address any questions and concerns the woman may have. A follow-up visit after her first monthly bleeding and 3 to 6 weeks after insertion is recommended. Important components of checkup: assessing for menstrual problems, assessing for infection, checking for IUD expulsion, assessing for need for using condom for protection against STI. So summary, quality follow-up care contributes to greater client satisfaction and safe and effective continued use. And thanks for patient hearing.